Hey, you're about to watch a clip from my Empty Opinions podcast. If you would like to check out the full episode, you can listen to it with the links in the description below. But without further ado, let's jump straight into the clip. I feel like psychologically a lot of people ignore red flags. And that's just something that happens when you're like in
I think
that
we
state.
like to ignore the red flags.
Oh yeah, for sure. We don't want to accept it.
I love ignoring red flags.
It's
right in my face, and I'm like, I don't see it. Like, I don't really.
I think that's the thing. It's like at that point you probably need just somebody like an external person to tell you like, yeah, that's a red flag.
Exactly. Yeah.
Then you kind of get snapped out of it a little bit. You know what I mean? Because
it depends on the person.
Well, like if it's like your close friend or something, you know what I'm saying? Like somebody you trust, and you're like, oh yeah, that's true.
Right.
Like if I were to tell my sister like about, I recently did it because like obviously a red flag is somebody who's just come off of a relationship with their ex,
and
it wasn't even a good breakup. It was a horrible breakup. That's a big red flag.
Yeah.
Guess who didn't know that?
Yeah.
I didn't.
Exactly.
So and now with this new girl that I'm talking to, that situation isn't there, but there was something I picked up with her ex, and I told my sister. She was like, no, you're good, it's not a red flag. And I was like, okay, good. So now I'm just checking with my sister like, yo, is this a red flag? Because at this point, I can't really trust myself to identify the red flags, immediately. What's something that you're not sure is a red flag or not? Because usually a lot of the time I don't be knowing. You know what I mean? I guess it comes down to like experiences with certain things.
Yeah.
If you haven't experienced something, if you haven't personally experienced something that's a red flag, you're not going to know it's a red flag. You know what I mean? It's hard for us to see that.
Yeah.
You think of one?
I don't know. Like, because a red flag that I've experienced, maybe the guy isn't really inconsistency. That's a big red flag.
What does that mean?
It means like replying back to me like 5 business days later.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's not good. I don't think that's ever good. Can we talk about that? I recently realized that I was talking to yet another person that obviously the person, whatever, regardless, this shit didn't go really anywhere at all. Yeah. Like after 2 days, it was just over. You know what I'm saying? It was crazy. Yeah. But I realized that like something switched, right? Where like this person was very like direct. You know what I mean? Like, so when we're direct, it's like FaceTime, maybe whatever. Then like 2 days later, she like we're texting, and then she takes 3 days. Yeah. So the energy completely, changes.
Yeah.
At first I was just like, oh, maybe she's just busy. Right. We always just think, oh, maybe she's just busy. You know what I mean? But then I feel like there is something when somebody isn't responding, like immediately after a full day, I think you got to raise your eyebrow. I think that's something that is almost universal, I believe. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm starting to feel like that says something.
Yeah.
We tend to ignore it because it's so easy to be like, oh, I'm overthinking this, obviously.
And sometimes we are overthinking it.
Sometimes it is, yeah. Sometimes it is.
The person could be busy and they just do not have the time to reply back to you. And I've heard like people say, well, people aren't too busy to not reply to you. Like if you're busy, you should say, hey, I'm busy, and then go about your day. But some people just aren't like that. Or you have people who they look at the message and then they think that they replied, but they didn't really reply.
That I think that's a good point. I bet you that happens a lot. But
yeah,
I don't know. It's just the thing about a day. I feel like a day of not responding to. I feel like after a day, it becomes really easy to not respond to somebody. You know what I mean? And I think at that point, I don't know. I just find that tricky. I think a day is a cutoff. If we were to try to figure out what is the cutoff before, like, at what point do you start to raise your eyebrow? I would say a day. When do you think, like, in time of somebody not responding back? Like, what's the amount of time that is possible of them just being busy versus, okay, now they're just not texting?
Well, from my experience, the 5 business days later.
I mean, that's insane.
Like, I mean, for me, it was just like, I knew this person was very inconsistent. Like, they just, if I would make plans, they would cancel on me the day of and just be like, I got other things to do.
It's kind of wild.
Like, and I accepted all of this. And in the back of my head, I was just like, D, like, you're getting played. Like, what is this? Like,
Yeah,
you need to stop this. leave this man alone.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like, for me, it's just, I'll text you and ask you, like, hey, like, are you busy? Like, do you need me to talk to you another time? Because if you do, that's fine. And I won't bother you again, because I'm not going to blow up your phone and asking you, hey, why aren't you texting me back? One day is fine. 2 days is fine. 3 days is fine. Like, a whole week is fine for me. But, like,
sure.
If I text, like, if I'm in the back of my head, like, if I text you and I'm just like, are you okay? Like, I haven't heard from you or anything. And you text me back and you're just like, yeah, like, I've just been busy or whatever. I'll just let it go. But I think that 1 week is fine, because you don't know what people are going through.
Right. Yeah.
And some people, they just don't want to talk.
Right.
And
True.
it's not just you that they are probably ignoring.
Yeah, that's I believe that.
Yeah, and some people, they put their phone on Do Not Disturb for a really good reason. Like, they just might be that busy, and they can only contact certain people.
Right.
But it'd still be nice for the person to text me and just be like, hey, like, I'm busy, and I'll reach you when I can.
I think that should be the bare minimum in that scenario. You know,
it
like,
should.
That should be like a formality. You know what I mean? I feel like you could easily, because I mean, how much easier does it make both of the people's, mind? You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to worry if you're the person that for some reason you could go a whole week and not talk to anybody and like not even think twice about it. You letting somebody know, okay, I'm not, I'm probably not gonna text you for this amount of time because I'm going through something. Not only do you now understand, and now you're not worrying about that. He's not worried about that. Because it's a problem that's avoided later on.
No, I agree.
I feel like that should be, even for those people, I don't want that to be a scapegoat of like, listen, it's not personal. I'm just like that. Right. No, at least do the formality.
That one too. I'm just like that. And it's like, what?
Yeah, well, that's where the thing called compromise comes in. You know what I mean? Where you can easily, it's not a huge ask for somebody. It's not, you're not like, let's say that 5 business days person, right? It's not like you're asking them to text you every 3 hours, right?
Oh, no.
Right. So it's like, like you said, you would even be fine with like those 5 business days. Just if the person can simply just one text, listen, I'm in one of those moods or, whatever. You already know, okay, it's going to be 5 days. You can deal with that.
Right.
But that's a problem. Those people think, like they're not, it's not their problem. I think that's the problem. People are, how they're gonna be, but we can seem like crazy when like you're like, oh, it's been 5 days, you haven't texted, and the person's like, damn, you so neat, or like whatever, you know what I mean? But it's like,
you counted the days. Like, what's up with that?
That's where it crosses the line into, you're not being considerate, and that's a real issue, I think.
Ooh, a lot of people aren't considerate.
No, they're not. Problem. That's I feel like you thought of a certain example. What?
The 5 business days guy.
Well, yeah, that's that person. Yeah, what you already say is very inconsistent. I mean, how many of those do you take of like canceled a day before or on the day where you're like, okay, now this is like not good. You know what I mean? Because I feel like shit can happen, right? Like shit can pop off. Like I remember, I told this story of how I was talking to this girl when I first moved out of the apartment, and I kept trying to get her to come to the apartment. And like a month went by, because every time she would say something like, "Oh, I got this family thing. I got that family thing." That's totally understandable. But like at a certain point, it gets like you can't cancel for 4 times in a month. You know what I'm saying? Like 4 times straight. Right. Like what's the streak of like cancellations where you're just like, okay, now I can't even make excuses, or it's not even you, because sometimes it's justifiable, right? It's not like one day they just decide, all right, nah, I'm just not going to see them. Sometimes it's like, that's what becomes tricky, because sometimes they tell you, oh, I have to do this. Like, oh, my family is like,
but here's the thing.
My family's, and
if you cancel, how I know you're really interested is if you reschedule. If you're just important. Like, hey, I have to cancel today. Like, can we reschedule? And you give me another day that you're actually available, day and time, that I know you're interested and you want this to work or whatever. But if you're just like cancel, and then I'm always the one rescheduling, then that means you're really not that interested. Right. And I'm wasting your time and you're wasting my time. So let's just stop this.
Yeah, that's actually a very interesting. You think that's for both for women and men?
Yeah. Okay. Oh, definitely, yeah.
Because now I'm trying to see. Let me see. Because that now actually became. All right. Yeah, okay, never mind. So she did that. I was looking for another red flag to see if I found it. This girl I'm talking to, because she did kind of cancel, but something came up, but she did try to reschedule. So like, reschedule. Now, great. Yeah, I just wanted to see she did that, and it wasn't me. Yeah. Because if it was me that tried to reschedule, they'll be like, all right, well, can we do this instead of her? Then maybe it would be a